please. Thank you very much, Dr. Reverend Sam Kobia. Thank you very much, Abdraman Ismail, for leading us in those prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Karuti Kanyinga, professor at the University of Nairobi. I'm one of the facilitators of this conference. I think it is important to bear in mind that we are celebrating 10 years of devolution in this country, a 10-year period of transformation from the local level, a 10-year period of unprecedented development from the local level, where we have seen many counties having transformation in service delivery and seen many counties in this country having achieved the development that they have never had from the 1963 when we got independence. It is clear that devolution is delivering in many, many, many different ways. And it is also clear that the devolution is resolving many developmental challenges in this country. We are going to have this conference in about 5 different themes. This first day, we are going to look at how to strengthen service delivery in the counties through performance management or reaching the last mile. And at the same time, tomorrow we shall be looking at 2 different themes on digital economy and integration of technology in devolved services and how to use digital technology to transform the counties. And then the third day, we shall be looking at issues. The third theme will be on issues of resourcing devolution and service delivery in the counties. And the third day, we shall be paying attention to good governance for equitable and sustainable development. Those are the themes that we shall be having throughout this conference. But this is just only in the plenary. We shall be having breakaway rooms where we shall be having more detailed discussions, and we shall be providing a summary of those discussions every day in the evening and every day before we begin the discussions. As it is our intention to continue beginning on time, and therefore I'll ask my co-facilitator, Eric Latif, to come forward and introduce the next panel, the panel that is preceding the opening, the formal opening of the conference. And I will ask the panelists, of course, to ready themselves to come over. I will ask my colleague, Eric Latif. I will ask Mary Deto to come over and take over from here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Latif, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome to this year's Devolution Conference, celebrating 10 years of devolution. We're going to have our first session, which will be themed Strengthening Effective Service Delivery in Counties through Performance Management, Reaching the Last Mile. The objective of this panel discussion will be to assess and propose measures that county governments can adopt to enhance transformative service delivery for improved citizens' livelihood and stronger business environments. The session will be moderated by Ms. Mary Ndeto, who is a public service expert. I'm just going to be telling you about Mary as she comes. Mary is currently the director of Tushi Management Consulting Services and has vast experience in designing and mainstreaming of performance systems, with over 15 years experience in human resource management strategies, policies, and public sector transformation and performance management for public institutions. Mary is going to come and welcome her panel, and then we'll begin our conversation. And just to get everybody's attention, I'd like us to please give the panel some moment. So a round of applause, please, for Mary as she comes up. Let's give her makofi a kilo. 1, 2, 3, makofi. 1, 2, 3, 20. Mary Ndeto, moderator of the first session of this year's Devolution Conference. Karibu, Mary.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning again. We are not excited about celebrating 10 years of devolution. Are we? Show me. Are we excited? Okay. I'll start by saying that I'm Mary Ndeto. I will be moderating this session, which is on strengthening effective delivery in the counties through performance management, reaching the last mile. And the objective of this session is to assess and propose measures that counties could adopt to enhance transformative service delivery for improved citizen livelihood and stronger business environment. So we will start our session with a keynote address from Right Honorable Tony Blair, and this session is recorded.
First call your panel on stage. First call your...
So at this point, I want to call a few people on stage. Allow me to introduce these distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are our panelists this morning and subject matter experts. So I'll call His Excellency Governor Mutahi Kahiga, EGH, Governor, Nyeri County. Please take your stage. Governor, I will also call to stage PS Ann Joki Wangombe, who is the PS State Department of Performance and Delivery Unit in the Prime Minister's Office. Ann, are you here? So I will also call to stage Senator Recha Julius Murgo, the chairperson, Senate Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Are you there? Thank you. I will also call the Dr. Mishek Dirangu, who is the County Director, AMREF Health Africa in Kenya. Dr. Dirangu, please. Are you there? I will also call Ambassador Salma Ahmed, Commissioner, Public Service Commission. Salma, take your position. I will also call MS Wanjiru Gikonyo, who is social accountability expert. Last and not least, I'm going to call Honorable Philomen Kiplagat Sabulei, Chairperson, the County Assembly's Forum, and Speaker, County Assembly of Marakwet. Are you there? Thank you. We are all up in stage. Thank you very much for turning up, 100%. At this point, I will ask that we take the keynote address from Right Honorable Tony Blair. It will be virtual, so pay attention. Thank you.
Mr. President, Dr. William Ruto, Cabinet Secretaries, Chair of the Council of Governors, Governors, Members of Parliament, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing me to say these few words on the 10th anniversary of the devolution of power to Kenya's governorates. When the Kenyan constitution was changed in 2010 to allow this devolution of power, it marked a big change in the country, but one that moved with the grain of change elsewhere in the world. Today, governance operates at a number of different levels. Some problems, climate change, for example, the global pandemic, can only be dealt with at an international level as well as a national level. Then there are other areas that are the absolute prerogative of the state, the nation state. That is things like defense and taxation and so on. But then over the years, as power has become exercised at different levels, so people have wanted more and more power to be taken down and devolved to the local level, so that decisions are taken at the closest possible point to the people that are affected by them. And this is why this change was made in Kenya. And I think despite all the challenges, most people would reckon it's been a very big success. And that's down to the work of people like yourselves and those that work for you in doing your best to make this great devolution program work for the people. You're elected by the Wananchi, the people, the citizens, and you're accountable to them. But the one thing that is clear, whatever level governance is exercised, is that the key challenge is always the same. It's delivery. It's getting things done. In my 10 years as Prime Minister of Britain, and then in the many years afterwards that I've spent helping governments around the world, I see very, very familiar challenges. Getting things done in government is hard. When you make change, there are vested interests that will stand in the way. People very often agree to reforms in principle, but just don't like them in practice. Sometimes bureaucracies can be slow to move and difficult to move. And also, when you're in a position of leadership, there's 1,000 different things that come on your desk, intended or not, that can create what I used to think of as a kind of conspiracy of distraction, where all the time you're wanting as a leader to be delivering for your people, but then there's all these other things happening that keep you from it. So I learned a lot in my first term of government, and I changed the system at the heart of the British government after that first term. And the basic structure that I changed, which is to move from a situation where the purpose of the machine was simply to give advice to politicians, to a situation where the purpose of the machine was to deliver for the people. We constructed the first delivery unit, and these delivery units now proliferate all around the world, and they can operate at a national level and also, of course, at a regional or state level. But in doing so, I needed to refocus government and to change the way we operated. And I came to the conclusion that there were 4 elements, what I used to call the 4 Ps of good governance: prioritization, policy, personnel, performance management. And let me say a few words about each in turn. Prioritization is a very difficult thing to do in government. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do because, in a sense, everything you do is a priority. Everything matters. But in the end, if you're a leader and you know you've got a limited term in office, if you try to do everything, you'll likely end up doing nothing. So getting those key priorities, the 4 or 5 big things that you want to define your time as leader by, those are things that are absolutely essential to establish because they direct the system, they give it clarity, and they give it the command that it requires in order to work effectively. So prioritization is absolutely vital. Often I see reports, usually done by outsiders, which lists hundreds of different things that need to happen in a country or in a region. The truth is, you'll never get all of them done, but you can, if you focus down on key priorities, get those at least done. The second thing is policy. And policy is tough. You know, I often speak with leaders and I ask them to describe their policy agenda, and they describe it, and I say to them, actually, what you've told me are ambitions. They're not policies. Now, ambitions are good things. We should all be ambitious, but it's not the same as a policy. A policy is a worked out, clear roadmap to deliver. In other words, it analyzes what the problem is, it organizes what the solution should be, and then it sets the stage for it to be delivered. But it's a tough thing to do, policy. The good news, though, is that around the world today, there are great examples of policy solutions that do work. People always think their own situation is unique. It really isn't. Someone, whatever problem you have, someone somewhere will be trying it and getting it right. But getting policy in good order, very tough, but absolutely vital. The third thing, of course, is personnel. Now, we all know this. In any walk of life, it's all about the people who work for you. If you get good quality people who are committed, determined, share the vision, want the thing to happen, you're going to have a better chance than having people who are maybe tired, perhaps they don't really agree, perhaps they just lost that commitment. So drawing a good group of people around the leader, absolutely vital. And I always used to say to people, 4 or 5 really good people in a government department can change that department forever. But if you don't have them, you can't do it. So personnel, absolutely essential. And the fourth is performance management. Now, what I mean by that is delivery, implementation. The thing is, implementation is difficult because, as I always say to people from the outside who think politics are easy and want to criticize politicians for not doing well enough or doing this or not doing that, try and do it if you think it's that easy. It's not, it's hard. But performance management means adopting, in a sense, what any company would do in order to deliver its results. It's a focused program of tracking every step of the way to getting the job done, to delivering what was promised. So those priorities need the right policy, they need the right personnel, but they also need that performance management, staying on it, tracking it, dealing with every obstacle that comes your way, but making sure that in the end, that performance is managed through to resolution. So these are just lessons that I learned and I've tried to apply in different countries around the world. The final thing I want to say is this, however. It's a great honor to be in a position of authority and power. But it's also, these are tough jobs to do. And the reason why I always have sympathy with people who are in positions of leadership is that you're always going to get criticized. There's always someone going to be trying to take you down. And in the end, you've got to be strong enough and determined enough to keep going. Because in the end, even if you don't always get thanked for it, delivering for the people is the most heartwarming and satisfying thing that you can do. So I wish everyone well. I know it's going to be a big few months for Kenya. There's a very important Africa Climate Summit being hosted by President Ruto, which I think is going to be a precursor to the COP28 summit in Dubai towards the end of the year. I congratulate him for the leadership he's shown on this issue. And I think that's an indication of Kenya's ambition today, of its ability to lead. And in the end, the most important thing is to get those things that you know the people need delivered for them. It is a tough job, but it's an honor to do it. And I am very honored to be able to say these words to you today. I wish you the very best for the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Clap for our keynote speaker, Tony Blair. We want to thank him for that powerful keynote, which has set the stage for this devolution. He has underscored the importance of taking services down to Mwananchi. And he has said of the need to prioritize, the need to develop responsive policies, the need to have highly motivated and competent personnel, among other things. And now to help us understand this subject matter, we are going to call upon His Excellency Governor Mutahi Kahiga, EGH, the Governor, Nyeri County, is going to address the issue of performance contracting. Allow me to point, at this point, to thank the President, National Government of the Republic of Kenya for leading the way by signing performance contracts at the national level. Performance contracting is a top leadership tool of holding executives to account for their performance, for managing, for implementing, for evaluating, and for rewarding or sanctioning performance. Bwana Governor, karibu.
Thank you very much, our moderator, fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Devolution Day. Now, I've been asked to speak about performance contracting, and I would want to basically ask the question whether, since Nyeri County has adopted performance contracting, has this one improved service delivery? And I would want to say that my county, Nyeri County, adopted the performance contracting system from the year 2018, and this one has enabled my county to be transformed in terms of growth from county number 47 in the World Bank ranking assessment to number 1 in 2019. Now, this annual performance contract process is in my government policy and is mandatory to all departments on annual basis. The process is guided by the technical assistance from the Council of Governors, and it speaks volumes for me to highlight the achievements of Nyeri County as attested by the performance contracting process. The success performance contracting process has been facilitated by a number of factors, one of which is that we have been able to establish a governor's service delivery unit which monitors exactly what we are doing. And this unit has been headed by an expert in matters performance management who is among the pioneers of the performance-based management and measurement in Kenya. This unit supports in development of performance targets, negotiation and vetting of performance targets to ensure that performance indicators are aligned to our county integrated development plan, sustainable development goals, the SDGs, my manifesto, the sector performance standards, and the approved budget estimates for every financial year. Now, the unit ensures performance contracts are signed at the beginning of every financial year and cascaded to all levels, and supports the implementation of performance contracts through continuous capacity building, projects monitoring, and validation to ensure that what is reported is actually the situation, the correct situation on the ground. Thank you.
Let's hear from you, your experiences. Share with us your experiences and the lessons learned.
Thank you very much.
Just in 1 minute.
What I would want to say is that performance contracting has helped Nyeri County be among the only counties that have very little or no pending bills. Why is this? Because outrightly, we move within a systematic kind of way. Departments have performance contracts and targets, and this one will help us never be overambitious, neither shall we spend less than we need. So this is one of them. Pending bills, we have been able to bring them down.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you later. With us is Ambassador Salma Ahmed, Commissioner, Public Service Commission, who will talk about human capital and the current trends in the country. Salma.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think on my part, what I would like to say from the outset is that many county governments actually are doing their best to ensure that they deliver services. However, a lot of constraints also exist. And so the focus for my part is to show how human capital and service delivery are interlinked. And the question is, how can we leverage human capital to better serve the citizens? Because the citizen is always at the center of service delivery. So I will be addressing myself to that and talk about some of the challenges and the trends that exist today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ambassador Salma Ahmed. At this point, I'll call the PS, State Department of Performance Management, and in the Office of the Prime Minister, Ms. Anne Njoki Wangombe. Karibu, Madam.
Thank you very much. I will speak about the importance of performance management in the public sector using 3 statements. One is that what gets measured gets done. Number 2, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. And number 3, when you do not know where you are going, any place can be your destination. Performance management was rolled out during the 3rd administration, but it gained traction in the year 2004. And this is the time when the country experienced a transformation in the socio-economic development. GDP that was almost at 0 rose to 7 within the first 5 years. Budget or revenue collection was at around 200 billion. It went to about 1.2 trillion. So what I'm trying to say is that performance management in the public sector spurred economic growth. We saw some stored projects. For example, the national, the housing project had stalled for a long time. It was completed. Provincial headquarters, for example, Kisumu, had stalled. These were completed. Then we also saw in the year 2007, Kenya was awarded the UN Public Service Award. Now, coming to the next administration, I must admit that we dropped the ball somewhere, but now we are at it again. You saw on 2nd of August, the president himself spearheading signing of performance contracting. So again, it all depends on leadership. We are expecting that the economy is going to be spurred to great levels. Initially, some countries like US, India, and Singapore benchmarked with us. They came to learn from us. Now they are far ahead. But all is not lost. We are confident that we will get there. When we go to the counties, we can also see a lot of improvement as far as service delivery is concerned. However, a lot still needs to be done, and counties are determined to do a lot more to ensure that we have service delivery improved in the public sector.
Okay, just before you leave the stage, can you tell us the strategies that your office is putting in place to cascade performance management to all counties in the country, given that the department has lean staffing?
Thank you for your question. I must admit that we do not have a clear entry to the county governments. However, county governments have been contacting us, and we have been very, very helpful. We have been providing technical expertise. It's also good to mention that we are trying to find an entry point, and we are doing so by use of a bill that is that is under preparation. And at the right time, we will go to the counties for your input because you are key stakeholders. I can also tell you that we are recruiting 50 experts in performance management, so that we will be able to give proper technical expertise to the counties. I can also confirm that we have automated system, performance management system, and the counties can plug into this performance system. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. With us is the chairperson, the County Assemblies Forum, and speaker to the County Assembly of Elgeyo Marakwet. And we want to ask you, as an oversight organization, how are the county assemblies supporting counties in promoting effective, efficient, and sustainable service delivery? Honorable Kiplagat, please.
So thank you so much, Madam Moderator, and my colleagues here as panelists, and everybody here today, good morning. I would like to look at the performance contracting, but most importantly on the service delivery and the role of the county assemblies. And first, I would want to make it very clear that the county assemblies, structured in the law and the constitutions, play a very integral role in the running of the county governments, the county governance, and all the services that are there in the county governments. I would say that county assemblies are the cornerstone and enablers of service delivery in the counties. And there are a number of ways in which the county assemblies as institutions have heavily played this role. One, on the part of legislative role, this is a tool in which the county governance and governments use to ensure that we direct and provide legal framework on how the resources and the programs of the counties are going to be run. You will agree with me that without the legal framework that guides the performance of the counties, there will be little to be done under the purview of the governance in the counties. Secondly, the county assemblies are placed as the oversight role and responsibility in the counties. And for this reason, even on matters of performance contracting, the county assemblies are there as the watchdog of the people and the public to ensure that the resources that are placed in the counties are used effectively and in the manner in which it was intended to be done. Thirdly, there is a budgetary responsibility that the county assemblies do every financial year. That tool as a budgetary responsibility is a tool in which then it can finance and fuel the services that begin to roll in those financial years. Finally, the passage of the planning policy documents in the counties, such as CIDP, ADP, spatial plans, are done by the county assemblies, which then gives the county government an opportunity to run those responsibilities under the guidance of those policy documents. So the county assemblies play a very integral role and are at the cornerstone of service delivery. And the challenges that faces the county assemblies under the current situation are things that the state and the legal framework should work on to ensure that we strengthen the performance of this very important institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. We'll come back to you, time allowing. We want to come to Senator Recha Julius Murgo, who is the chairperson for Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare at the Senate. And we want to ask the Senate how Senate is ensuring that county governments' resources are disbursed in time for counties to implement programs and the projects. Senator, please, Murgo.
Thank you very much, moderator. And good morning, everybody, including my fellow panelists. In this discussion that I'm presenting, I try to answer two questions or lingering questions that are in minds of people and maybe audience. That is, if Senate sees resource disbursement to counties translating into better service delivery to the people, and then secondly, how Senate tracks performance in services delivered to the counties. In trying to answer those questions, it is important that a county has performance management system in their organization or in their system. In this way, it enhances assurance of processes and efficiencies. And then also, secondly, is a service delivery that links the government, county government, and even national with the citizens. And so performance management has a strategy in organization that relates to the human resource, policies, culture, communication, and such systems that brings efficiency and effectiveness in delivering of the services. And then also in 2010 Constitution, it empowered counties to take charge of resources and deliveries at the lowest level in counties. And there are about 14 items that are functions under Schedule 4 in the counties. That is agriculture, health, control of air pollution, noise, and other nuisance, cultural activities, general entertainment, and amenities, county transport, animal control, welfare, trade, development, regulation, county planning and development.
Okay, Senator, you will allow us to reach there. We'll come back to you so that other two speakers can speak first, then we give you another round. Thank you. Okay. Can we call upon Dr. Dirangu Mishek, the County Director, AMREF Health Africa in Kenya? We understand that you have been implementing health programs across the counties. What impact has your work had in the local communities? Mr. Dirango, please.
Thank you very much, Mary. And allow me to say that in the last decade, AMREF South Africa has worked with counties to strengthen systems for primary health care. As we have worked with counties, providing technical assistance, we have learned about the levels of primary health care that make a difference. Today, AMREF would like to share with you 4 such lessons and levers that are leading to better population health outcomes. These 4 levers, and you can remember them by 4 Ps. The first one is political commitment and action at the county level. The second one is effectively deploying primary care networks. The third one is people-centered models of primary health care. And the final one is precision public health premised on data science. And would like to commend a number of counties that have made progress on all these 4. For Turkana County, they have demonstrated excellent political commitment and action through a better legislative environment, as well as budgeting and investing those funds in ways that have enabled the county bring down maternal mortality from more than 1,500 deaths per 100,000 live births to below 400. Would also like to commend Kwale County that has been a trailblazer with support from USAID and AMREF technical assistance in putting in place primary care networks. We have already seen very early results from the primary care networks there on reduction of number of maternal deaths. And our primary care networks becomes effective when we invest in 4 areas that also the national government is supporting. That is financing, human resources for health, data, as well as commodity security. On the third level, people-centered models of primary health care, would like to commend counties like Meru County, Turkana County, and the 12 counties in western part of Kenya where malaria is endemic. They have brought out models like the Kimormol One Health approach.
Michelle, half a minute.
Like the Kimormol One Health approach, malaria testing at household level by community health promoters, as well as integration of non-communicable disease control into routine care. And finally, on the 4th level, precision public health, building on data, would like to commend counties like Vihiga and others that are working to eradicate neglected tropical diseases for deploying granular mapping surveys superimposed on geographic information systems to reach populations most affected by NTDs, and demonstrating that indeed we could end NTDs by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, I want to call upon Wanjiru Gikonyo, the social accountability expert, to tell us that one of the objectives of devolution in Article 174 is social economic development and provision of easily accessible services throughout Kenya. Let us know to what extent has the county governments adhered to this promise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looking at a 2021 report by the World Bank, that's one of the most comprehensive reviews that have been done of service delivery under devolution. The findings show that despite the Big Bang devolution, which people feared would cause services to collapse, services did not collapse, and counties have been able to maintain the level of service delivery that was there pre-devolution. Further to that, they've been able to extend service delivery to areas that were not previously reached. However, there are still gaps. Some sectors have fared better than others. Health has fared better. Rural water, early childhood development, those sectors have fared better. Agriculture and urban services have not fared as well, and there are gaps. And some of these gaps hinge on an item that's being mentioned here, which is personnel. Lack of adequate personnel in the right place for the right purpose. So the balance between the technical, the frontline, and the administrative staff is not struck well. A lack of standards and sectoral policy is also undermining the ability of county staff to deliver and be monitored for their performance. The absence of an effective performance management framework, and especially the monitoring and evaluation, the data required to do performance monitoring is not available, or those systems are not set up and resourced and prioritized in most of the counties. So whereas the last 10 years there's been an emphasis on public finance management, it seems that now the priority needs to be on human resource management to make sure the capacity is there. Linked to that, there are still some functional issues that need to be ironed out. There are issues about staffing in health, there's issues about water, there's also issues around financing of the high population counties, the urban counties like Kiambu, Nairobi, Mombasa, and how they are able to invest in infrastructure. Finally, there are some good practices that could be institutionalized to strengthen service delivery, such as project management committees, where citizens are strengthened to oversight county implementation as part of the performance management. Thank you.
While you still have the mic, can you make your final remarks, closing remarks, a take-home remark for the audience? 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I was trying to do that as I was speaking, but I would say that prioritizing performance management and the resolutions that come out of this very important conference through a multi-stakeholder process is very important, so that we have good deliberations, but coming out of these deliberations, we then have the action. So I would say it's about capacity, it's about data, it's about public participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Governor Nyeri County, your closing remarks?
Thank you very much, our moderator. I think it is important that we go by what Thomas S. Monson said and what Waziri has said here, that where performance is actually measured, we see performance improving. And it goes further to say, where performance is measured and reported, we also observe that the rate of improvement increases. Therefore, from a county perspective and from our perspective as a COG, we observe that as a result of introduction of performance management, then entirely quite a number of things change. Performance changes, the culture, the working culture changes, competition is introduced, and we are able to monitor what projects we are able to do. And overall, the performance of a county is clearly indicated and improved.
Tell us
Thank you.
Something about reward and sanction. Just in 1 minute, reward and sanction, whether you have rewards.
Oh, yes. We also have, we have introduced within our county, remember we said performance where it is monitored, it is measured and reported. The measurement, considering that the weights have already been negotiated, we have introduced reward systems where we have trophies. We also go further and in specific areas, we give promotions.
Thank you, thank you. PS Anne Wangombe, please.
Thank you very much. Mine is to just encourage the counties to embrace performance management fully. We have been having counties that have dropped off on the way. Others have sustained and they have done very well. A good example is Kakamega, Makueni, and Nyeri. Thank you, Governor. And I'm promising that from where we are seated, we'll continue supporting the counties. You'll offer technical expertise, and you'll be there to start with you. And we also urge you to plug into our integrated performance system and also encourage you to automate, especially your revenue collection systems. Thank you.
Okay. Senator?
Yes, thank you. Even though county governments have tried very much over the 10 years of devolution, but inadequate disbursement of funds from the national government has affected performances of the all 47 counties, and then also low on resource or revenue is also another challenge that is a bottleneck to county governments. Bloated workforce is another bottleneck in performance in the county governments. And then also bloated workforce together with reports showing misappropriation of funds, and this bears a lot on the executive management that, all the time all these negative reports are reported, and therefore if this is corrected, it will really enhance the performance of county governments such that we will experience more than we are experiencing now, even though there is a lot of good that goes on in the counties now because of devolution of resources to the county governments.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Mishak Dirangu, closing remark.
Thank you, moderator. We congratulate AMREF Africa, congratulates all the counties that have implemented effective levels of primary health care. And we encourage each county to identify a few levels which, when implemented, they lead to population health outcomes, and incorporate those into the contracts of the leaders and the health workers. Such levels, as I said, include political commitment and action demonstrated by things like legislation and budgeting, precision public health, people-centered models of care like integration and very locally relevant primary care models, and resourcing primary care networks. If we do that as a country, we can achieve big bets by 2030. And such big bets include, number one, we could lower maternal deaths to below 100 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births. Number two, we could add certain diseases like malaria amidst the climate crisis before it becomes devastating. Number three, we could add selected neglected tropical diseases like schistosomiasis, lymphatic filariasis, and even intestinal worms. And number four, and finally, we can flatten the non-communicable disease curve before it cripples. The complications of those diseases cripple our health systems. What levers are those that each county needs to apply? Thank you.
Okay, Salma.
To address the human capital challenge, it is important for county public service boards and the national government too to ensure that they embrace uniform norms and standards. That currently is lacking. And without embracing uniform norms and standards, including the values and principles of governance and values and principles of public service, we cannot have a unified and harmonized and standardized HR management and processes. So I would urge that county public service boards perhaps can take advantage that we have put on our portal that has stipulated all the legal HR instruments, and in that way they would be able to strengthen HR at the county level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Speaker Elgeyo Marakwet. Yeah.
My closing remarks will be that having underscored the role of the county assemblies as the cornerstone and enablers of service delivery in the counties, it is important we appreciate that fact and continually support the strengthening of the county assemblies and ensure that they are enablers and players in the devolution space. In an event such as this, members of county assemblies cannot just be merely participants, but should be players, and part of the discussion that shapes devolution in this country. Otherwise, in terms of service delivery, I think that most counties are on track, and we want to congratulate them being the oversight institutions, and we look forward to working very closely with governors and COG to ensure that our people in Mashinani get the services they deserve. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Now for closing remark, final for you. Any? Do you have any? We cut you short. Gikonyo.
Yes. In looking through and reflecting on this human resource management gap, personnel gap, there is an opportunity for counties to work at the regional level with the regional blocks to build capacity there around policy making, around the technical expertise that is needed at the county but is too expensive for respective counties. So the next 10 years, we need to see more interdependence and cross-county mobility and sharing of human resource. So that's one idea that really came out strongly. I think it's discussed, and the time is right. This is the time so that counties can exercise their distinctness but build the capacity they need, which at present they cannot individually afford. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, our audience, for being very patient with us. This morning, the speakers have underscored the issue of implementing performance management and cascading performance management to the lowest level so that the mwananchi can feel the services that are offered by the county government. At the center of service delivery, we have been told there is human resource, and we are told that we must capacitate the human resource to be able to deliver the services that are expected of them. From our keynote address, again, we have been told about prioritization and putting in place the right policies to ensure that, that the county governments, with the limited resources, they can maximize on delivery of services. Then we have been told about prioritization of the health services and how counties can partner with AMREF Health Africa to enhance service delivery. So thank you very much for listening to us. We will be available for questions throughout the week. We are around. So if you have any questions for any of us, you are free to get in touch with us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Let's clap for the panel, please. Let's clap for them again. Please get seated. I think we have learned a lot from this panel, beginning with the keynote address, where Right Honorable Tony Blair told us that in development programming, one has got to be very careful about the priorities. If you choose everything, you may not achieve what you want. But it's important to prioritize. Identify a few things that you can have impact on, rather than making an effort of having everything. The panel, and in particular Governor Mutahi Kahiga, Nyeri Governor, has told us the importance of performance management, and in particular performance contracting. He has pointed out that they do not have pending bills similar to what is happening in many other counties. They do have, but not as that much, because they base their development programming on performance management. We have seen instances where we have been told identifying indicators to be tracking development progress is important, especially when we are talking about devolution. And identifying those indicators is something that needs to be done in consultation with the general public. We have heard the County Assemblies Forum also talking about the importance of identifying what needs to be done and ensuring that the people are sensitized about it. These are issues that we are going to be paying attention to later on during the course of these discussions from today to Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going now to move into two different sessions, brief sessions, one beginning with the Children's Conference documentary to know what the Children's Conference was all about, what they identified as important things that need to be taken up and acted upon by the county governments and the national government. And then after that, we shall move to the entertainment by two choirs, the Champions Choir and our Sis dancers of here in Uasin-Gishu. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the Children's Conference documentary immediately. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amanda. I am 10 years old as Devolution in Kenya. Before I was born, everything was being done in Nairobi. This made it difficult for children from other parts of the country to get services such as health, education, and clean water. But when making the 2010 Constitution, Kenyans, including children, said it is important to have services available to everyone and everywhere. So, the country was divided into, can you guess how many counties? Yes, 47 counties as shown on this map. In 2013, during the general elections, Kenyans voted for their first governors, deputies, and MCAs. So this year, all county governments are 10 years old, just like me. On health, counties have made it easy for us to get health care. It is easy to get doctors, nurses, and medicine in clean and well-equipped hospitals. Mandera County, for example, has made efforts towards improved access to maternity services, increased referral hospitals from 1 to 3, and constructed new modern maternity wards. Nakuru County constructed a new 250-bed maternity wing at the Nakuru Level 5 Hospital to meet the demands for safer deliveries and provide specialized care to children born with complications. My younger brother got his jab to protect him from polio and TB.
There are areas in which these children can't get access to vaccination, so it has been a really great impact to children so that they can get immunized at school.
We have a lot of areas where it is the risk of the children getting sick is very high, and since the vaccination program came, the risk was getting a bit low.
How many of you have been vaccinated from polio and TB? All of us. Awesome. Can we give a clap to the county governments? Thank you. On education, talking of my younger brother, the county government has made sure he has a beautiful school with really good teachers and lots of toys and books.
Tables, chairs, charts. It has helped in building ECD classes, employing the teachers of ECDE. In a girls' school, it has helped in giving the girls sanitary towels.
77% of children who are supposed to be in schools are enrolled in early learning centers. Also, the county works with the Ministry of Education to make sure those of us who don't have money are able to go to schools by providing scholarships.
I'm a beneficiary of county. I'm being sponsored by county since I finished my class 8 KCP.
Something awesome that counties have also done is to make sure all children go to school, even those who are differently abled. They have done this by improving the construction and renovation of schools, parks, and recreational centers with features such as ramps, handrails, and accessible toilets to ensure children with disabilities can navigate these spaces independently.
Since devolution began, Kenyans have enjoyed essential services which have been brought near them.
The digital space is our new reality. To ensure that we are prepared for this new world, county governments provide training programs to students including children in pre-primary, teachers and community members with the aim of enhancing their digital skills.
The county government has improved service delivery by introduction of new learning materials which involve technology like the tablets we use in the resource room.
We cannot learn if we are hungry. Our governors are very caring, and so they have ensured that we have food in schools. For example, the Garissa County government gives children a meal every day. The county government of Nairobi has started a program called Dishi Poa for all children enrolled in public primary schools and public ECDE centers.
Huku Garissa County government imesaidia watoto kulipia fees, pia imesaidia kuwapea chakula na inasaidia watoto wenye hawana wazazi mayatima.
In agriculture, where does food come from? From the farms. To ensure we have food, county government are teaching us to farm by making sure that agriculture is part of our ECDE programs. We learn about farming techniques, crop cultivation, and sustainable agricultural practices.
Agriculture is beneficial to the county as it brings about food stability. With the food stability, it can cause children to get proper nutrition as they will be provided with the proper diet.
We cannot have food in our farms if we don't have rain. And rain comes from, yes, trees. County governments have been holding tree planting events in schools and other public areas and involving children who take care of these trees within their schools. The counties have created a good environment for our parents to work. Sometimes we accompany our parents to their workplaces, including markets. To ensure our safety and well-being, county governments have established child-friendly facilities within markets. These facilities include designated play areas, child-friendly restrooms, and safe spaces for children to engage in age-appropriate activities while their parents or guardians work. In the next 10 years, I believe that Kenya will be much better than it is right now. And here is what the children want our county government to do.
And I would like my government need a lot of assistance. For example, those who need scholarships and food provided for them.
We need a road that that lead to the school. That road is really not good. It becomes pathetic when it rains.
What I want my governor to do for children is to allocate more funds for local talent support.
What I would like my governor to do is continue with that good work and keep on helping the children, especially the street children.
I am requesting the county government of Homa Bay to provide sanitary towels for the girls in school.
I would like our governor to improve our infrastructure, by giving our children better education and building better hospitals.
Devolution holds immense potential for the realization of our children's rights. By granting children greater access to education, healthcare, and essential services, Devolution has the capacity to create a brighter future for the younger generation. Children should be involved in decisions made in their counties to help them realize their full potential. It's really important to think about issues that matter to children when making laws in the country. We want to plan our own future. There is nothing for us without us. Remember, devolution is all of us, because as much as we are from 47 counties, we are one country, one nation. Long live devolution, long live Kenya!
City nebo Champions.
Nairobi. Now everything, what they know is being done in the counties. We have seen the story of immunization and how immunization scope and scale and reach has expanded in the country. Even counties that never used to have high levels of immunization, we've seen trends in increasing cases of children being immunized across the country. That never used to be the case. We have seen children saying that services are much closer to people now. They are able to relate with what is happening, unlike in the old days. And I think one of the most fascinating stories is the story of changing lives that has come with the promotion of early childhood education or pre-primary education, accompanied with school feeding program or nutrition. We are now going to get to the second session of entertainment, and we are going to be entertained by the Champions Choir. I understand we're in the land of champions, and we have got the Champions Choir, and then assist dancers will follow. But before they begin, let me make one announcement about the exhibitions. We are going to vote for the best exhibitions on Friday. So please, we are requesting everyone to go and visit the exhibitions, identify the most well-organized exhibition where you can get comprehensive information about that particular county or about transformative information about devolution or development in general. Identify a booth that has got innovative information and lessons for transformation. What you can call the best booth in terms of knowledge generation, or the booth that is giving the best information that you can ever get on matters development. We shall be getting back to these indicators much later. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Champions Choir to sing for us. Thank you very much.
Ninaipenda nchi yangu Kenya, taifa langu kweli lavutia, ni mzalendo kweli tailinda, taifa langu nchi yangu. Ninaipenda nchi yangu Kenya, oh lavutia, ni mzalendo tailinda, taifa langu nchi yangu. Ninaipenda nchi yangu Kenya, oh lavutia, ni mzalendo tailinda, taifa langu nchi yangu. Na madaraka tumeshayapata, twajitawala sisi tu wa Kenya, uzalendo twajivunia tukiishi kwa umoja. Na ugatuzi tumeuona kimaendeleo, tumepiga hatua, nafasi bora kwa jinsia zote, hatua nchini Kenya. Na ugatuzi tumeuona kibiashara, tuko mbele, uchumi wetu imarika, maisha bora kwa kizazi chetu. Yelele, yelele, yelele mama, yelele, yelele, yelele mama, yelele, yelele, yelele mama, yelele, yelele, yelele mama. Tufanyeje kulinda Kenya, tufanyeje kulinda Kenya, nchi nzuri iliyobarikiwa. Ungane kwa pamoja, tuijenge Kenya yetu, nchi nzuri iliyobarikiwa. Ukabila, ubinafsi, ufisadi, tukomeshe. Tuishangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Tuishangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Tumekomboa Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, tumebadili mwendo. Hatutaki matata Kenya, hatutaki matata Kenya. Wenzangu, hatutaiacha milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele. Oh, Kenya kipenzi chetu, wananchi wa Kenya, hatutaacha Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele. Oh, wenzangu, Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele. Oh, sitaiacha Kenya nchi yangu. Mimi mwana Kenya daima, na nikienda ng'ambo nitarudi. Mimi mwana Kenya daima, sitachochea kamwe ukabila. Mimi mwana Kenya daima, kweli na majirani wangu nitalinda. Mimi mwana Kenya daima, wenzangu, Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele. Oh, wenzangu, kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele. Oh, tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda daima. Twajiunga pamoja kutangaza hadharani msimamo wa Kenya ni kulinda amani.
Twajiunga pamoja kutangaza hadharani msimamo wa Kenya ni kulinda amani.
Twajiunga pamoja wananchi wa Kenya, msimamo wa Kenya ni kulinda amani.
Twajiunga pamoja kutangaza hadharani msimamo wa Kenya ni kulinda amani.
Mzalendo kamili popote ulipo, tangaza amani kwa Mkenya mwenzako.
Mzalendo kamili popote ulipo, tangaza amani kwa Mkenya mwenzako.
Mzalendo kamili popote ulipo, tangaza amani kwa Mkenya mwenzako.
Mzalendo kamili popote ulipo, tangaza amani kwa Mkenya mwenzako.
Twajiunga pamoja kutangaza hadharani msimamo wa Kenya ni kulinda amani.
Twajiunga pamoja kutangaza hadharani msimamo wa Kenya ni kulinda amani.
Kenya yangu, nchi yangu, naipenda Kenya yangu, kwa ukweli wazalendo tulinde amani Kenya.
Kwa ukweli wazalendo tulinde amani Kenya. Kwa ukweli wazalendo tulinde amani Kenya.
Kenya yangu, nchi yangu, naipenda Kenya yangu, kwa ukweli wazalendo tulinde amani Kenya.
Kwa ukweli wazalendo tulinde amani Kenya. Kwa ukweli wazalendo tulinde amani Kenya. Kenya yangu, Kenya, Kenya tulinde amani.
Amani Kenya.
Kenya, Kenya tulinde amani.
Mwana Kenya kumbuka, tangu tuwe uhuru, nchi yetu ina sifa ya uongozi wa amani.
Nchi yetu ina sifa ya uongozi wa amani. Nchi yetu ina sifa ya uongozi wa amani.
Mwana Kenya kumbuka, tangu tuwe uhuru, nchi yetu ina sifa ya uongozi wa amani.
Nchi yetu ina sifa ya uongozi wa amani. Nchi yetu ina sifa ya uongozi wa amani. Kenya yangu, Kenya, Kenya tulinde amani.
Amani Kenya.
Kenya, Kenya tulinde amani.
Ukienda pwani kwetu,
omba amani, watu wa pwani tatangaza amani.
Ukienda pwani kwetu,
omba amani, watu wa pwani tatangaza amani.
Ukienda Nairobi,
omba amani, watu wa Nairobi tatangaza amani.
Kati mwa Kenya kule,
omba amani, watu wa Kenya tatangaza amani.
Kati mwa Kenya kote,
omba amani, watu wa Kenya tatangaza amani.
Rudi mashariki kwetu,
omba amani, watu mashariki tatangaza amani.
Nenda magharibi kwetu,
omba amani, watu mashariki tatangaza amani.
Nenda Nyanza kule,
omba amani, watu wa Nyanza tatangaza amani.
Kule Nyanza kwetu,
omba amani, watu wa Nyanza tatangaza amani.
Bonde la Ufa hapa,
omba amani, bonde la Ufa tatangaza amani.
Bonde la Ufa hapa,
omba amani, bonde la Ufa tatangaza amani.
Heri nchi yangu, nchi ya upendo, nchi ya amani. Wananchi wote Kenya tuzingatie amani.
Wazalendo wote Kenya tuzingatie amani. Wazalendo wote Kenya tuzingatie amani. Kenya imesitawi, Kenya imesitawi, Kenya imesitawi kwa mwito wa amani. Kenya imesitawi, Kenya imesitawi, Kenya imesitawi.
tuzingatie amani.
Wazalendo wote Kenya tuzingatie amani. Wazalendo wote Kenya tuzingatie amani.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Tumekomboa Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, tumebadili mwendo. Hatutaki matata Kenya. Hatutaki matata Kenya. Anayependa Kenya ajitengane na mambo yenye kuvunja amani. Hatutaki matata Kenya. Hatutaki matata Kenya. Wenzangu, wenzangu,
Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima.
Oh, wenzangu,
Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima.
oh, Kenya ni mama yangu, Kenya ni baba yangu, na nitabaki Mkenya daima na milele.
Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima.
Oh, wenzangu, kipenzi chetu,
hatutaiacha milele daima.
oh, sitaiacha Kenya nchi yangu.
Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima.
Na nikienda ng'ambo nitarudi.
Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima.
Mimi sitapotoshwa tena na wabaya.
Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima.
Na ujirani mwema nitatunza.
Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima.
Nitapokea wote nao wema.
Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima.
Na ushirikiano nitatunza.
Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima.
Wenzangu, wenzangu,
Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima.
oh, wenzangu,
Kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima.
oh, tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda.
Daima.
Let's clap for them, please. Thank you very much. The next group that is coming on stage is ASIS dancers from here in Uasin Gishu. ASIS choir, ASIS dancers from here in Uasin Gishu. Please come in. ASIS dancers, come in.
Ukikata mti moja, panda mbili, tuchunge mazingira yetu. One mi gore nyon, mi to gurjo gore nyon.
A round of applause, please, for the assist dancers. Applause for the assist dancers, please. Let's recognize them. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing on the screen is the president at the commemoration of the tree growing initiative. After that, dancers, you don't have to leave. You'll still play one more. Assist dancers, you'll still play one more for us. When the president leaves the tree planting and the tree growing initiative, he will come and tour our exhibitions, and then he will join us here at the plenary. So ladies and gentlemen, just hold on. Our program will begin shortly. His Excellency the President is now departing the tree growing initiative, where he's planted trees and commemorated our tree growing initiative for the country. Shortly, he'll be arriving at these grounds, where he will first tour the exhibition stands and see the various exhibitors, and we'll also encourage all of you, please, visit the exhibition stands. There are very many counties and other partners who are exhibiting. Visit those stands and see what they have to offer. And then we'll kindly ask you to vote for what you consider to be the best exhibition at this year's Devolution Conference. The winners will get something. They'll be rewarded with something. So ladies and gentlemen, again, let's now welcome back on stage the champions, who will be coming to give us one or two numbers as we wait for the president's arrival. Champions, welcome. Oh, the assist dancers are still on stage, yes. And the assist dancers are asking, if you're feeling that you like to dance, please feel free to join them and dance. Assist dancers, one more time.
Sugar to kama gatuzi kweli, tunaenda mbali twatumaini, tumeshajua njia ya kupitia na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani, sisi sote sasa tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Uongozi bora twajivunia, na mifarakano umetupia mbali, tunashirikiana bega kwa bega sasa, tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata pamoja kwa amani. Tuseme tena sasa, tushikane mikono, twende mbele, tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Uongozi bora tumeuona heko, raisi tunaye na machachari, William Ruto Kipchirchir, mambo ni kasi kasi, tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Tena sasa tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Magavana wa nguvu twawapokea kwetu, gavana Mijimiji ndiye dereva wao, ugatuzi tushirikiane sote sasa, tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Na sisi sote sasa tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Kuungana kwetu metuletea mengi, raisi tunaye kutoka kwetu hapa, kweli ndilo gatuzi lenye ubingwa sasa, tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungano, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele. Tunatamba kote uhaibuni kweli, riadha, muziki, hata michezo, tutasema nini la shukurani sasa, tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele, tuungane pamoja kwa amani. Nasi sote sasa tushikane mikono, twende mbele, baba mama watoto na jirani, jiji tutalipata, twende mbele. Sara twajivunia, tunalisha Kenya nzima kwa chakula chetu, mashamba ya rutuba Mungu katupa, hospitali bora kwetu zipo, wataalamu tunao mbalimbali, shule zetu na vyuo. Pia Uasin Gishu Gatuzila Mandi, City of Champions. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Uasin Gishu Gatuzila Mandi, City of Champions. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Harambe, harambe. Harambe, harambe, tuimbe pamoja. Oh, harambe, 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 tuimbe. Harambe, 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 tuimbe pamoja. Tujenge serikali. Harambe, oh, harambe, 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 tuimbe pamoja. Tujenge Kenya itakuwa matata, watu wote wastaarabu. Wengi walisema Kenya itakuwa matata, wengi walisema Kenya itakuwa matata, wengi walisema Kenya itakuwa Harambe, 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 harambe. Hatuna ubaguzi, watu wa Kenya, hatuna ubaguzi. Watu wa Kenya, hatuna ubaguzi, kila rangi tunaipenda. Watu wa Kenya, hatuna ubaguzi. Watu wa Kenya, hatuna ubaguzi. Watu wa Kenya, hatuna ubaguzi, kila rangi tunaipenda. Wananchi harambe, tuvute pamoja. Wananchi harambe, tuvute pamoja. Tuongoze kwa usalama. Wananchi harambe, wananchi
sana. Wageni wakaribishwa hapa kwetu, hakuna matata. Wageni wakaribishwa hapa kwetu, hakuna matata. Wageni wakaribishwa hapa kwetu, hakuna matata. Jambo wote, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa hapa kwetu. Kilimo twajivuna, chakula ni kwa wingi, nyote mwajionea, usalama tunao, ni nchi ya amani, furaha tele tele, nyuso za tabasamu na matata, nyote mwajionea, karibuni wageni, si nyumbani, kuna matata, jongeni pamoja, tujuliane hali, hakuna matata. Mandhari yavutia, mbona mwajiuliza, hawa ni kina nani? Hakuna matata, hakuna matata, hakuna matata.
kwako Bwana, unaweza nijalie niwe na moyo safi, moyo wangu